Okay, we are recording.
All right. Hi, Laura. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
What's been going on over the past week?
Oh, a lot of drama at work, I guess. It's probably consumed the most of my time.
Anything else or just mainly work?
Well, I'm busy. I'm definitely busy between work and grad school and having two kids in school who are also playing sports. But I would say definitely work is the most time consuming of all of those things.
Yeah, and what if you were to pick one for right now, what would be the thing that brings you in today?
Um, I would say definitely work. Just I'm feeling overwhelmed and stressed by a lot of
Yeah.
things at work, and so I think the other things are much better compared to that. So
Okay, well, if you don't mind, I'm going to take some notes about what you've been saying. So I know you said that work was an issue and the drama there,
yes,
school, and kids.
yeah,
Is that
not necessarily kids, but just the busy schedule that comes along with having two kids in school and sports.
what? Yeah, they don't take care of themselves, so you've got to do the laundry, do the cooking, help with the homework, bedtime, all those kind of things, which can be very
And
stressful.
find time to take them to soccer practice.
And
So.
soccer practice and little things like that. Okay. So why don't we kind of work on setting an agenda for what we want to do today? I know it sounds like these are all very stressing things for you. So was work maybe the one that you wanted to put number one on the list to talk about?
Yeah.
Okay. And then if we have time, I'm going to say what would be the next most pressing issue that maybe you'd like to
Um,
consider.
I would say definitely school. The kids and the busy routine thing, I mean, that's pretty normal. I can deal with that. It's just all this other stuff on top of that. It's a lot. So,
Okay. So why don't you tell me a little bit more about your problems at work?
well, it's just been a really stressful several months, 9, 10, 11, 12 months even, but even more so the last 4 months. Since early summer, we've had some staff leave, and we've been down quite a few staff members, and we were on a hiring freeze for a period of time at work. So when we did have staff leave, we couldn't replace them right away. And so um, over the last, I would say, 4 months or so, since probably May, we've had 3 staff members in the office. One of those staff members was on probation during that time because he was still within his first year of employment. So 3 staff members, myself, one other supervisor, and the circuit manager doing the work of 11 people. And so it's been very busy, and there's issues like dynamic issues with people in the office that add to the stress. And so it's just been a very exhausting last few months.
Okay. And what would you like to see happen in that situation? What would you like to see change?
Well, I definitely think that we're getting to the point where we're getting to hire new staff. We have 5 fairly new staff members that have joined within the last month or so, and then we have 3 more that will be starting within the next few weeks. So by mid-October, we should, for the first time since probably February, be fully staffed. And so I think that will play a part in helping the situation some, because I'm supposed to be in the role of a supervisor, but I'm also finishing up my first practicum for grad school. But also because we've been down so much staff, I've been case managing and carrying cases. So I'm wearing like 3 different hats, and it's kind of hard to juggle at times. But I think having the new staff come on, and 5 of the 8 that we will eventually have now been trained. So starting in October, they can take cases, and so I think that will relieve some of that burden because I won't be case managing anymore. And my practicum will be over by mid-October, probably by the 15th. So I think that will help some, but really it's just the dynamic issues with individuals at work have been going on for quite a while. And so I would like to see that be resolved somehow, but I guess I'm not overly optimistic that it will be resolved. I mean, there's not really been anything that's happened that's filled me with confidence that it will ever change. So I have been struggling with like, is it even worth like staying in the same job even more? Or do I want to like start looking for something else because it is getting to be so stressful and kind of just this negative.
Okay, I hear that there's a lot of things going on at work. Are there any particular situations or instances that stand out in your mind?
Like I said, it's just the dynamic is not the most positive dynamic. We can have a really great group of staff members. One of our strengths in the past has always been, that when the going gets tough, we can pull together as a team,
Right.
and we kind of have each other's backs. But there's just the last couple of years have been rough. We lost a supervisor that I was really close with. We both started at the agency around the same time, and things just haven't been the same ever since that. The new supervisor and I don't really mesh quite like the old one and I did, and that dynamic is like night and day different compared to what it used to be. And so that's been a difficult adjustment. And there's been just issues, I guess, between me and this individual and concerns that I've had about like that individual and their dynamic with other people in the office that I've tried to address and tried to resolve with other management staff, but it's really not gone anywhere. And that's frustrating for me because I don't want to continue in the same cycle where I'm unhappy or where other staff members in the office are unhappy. But I don't feel like
Okay, hold on. Hang on a second. It sounds like that just overall you're unhappy at work, and
yeah.
from what it sounds like, you're saying that nobody's listening to you.
It definitely feels like that at times. Like I said, I've tried to address some of the concerns and some of the issues on 2 separate occasions, and I just kind of feel like I've been brushed off. Like this individual can just throw out whatever excuses they want, and it kind of just gets, oh, that's the end of it, and there's never really any resolution. And it's not like they're not hearing what me and other staff are saying or trying to say.
And when you talk about being brushed off, I was going to say, are you sad, mad, angry, upset, hurt feelings?
There's definitely hurt feelings, and I guess I don't know. There's definitely frustration. Frustration may be a better label than sad or mad, because there is sad and mad that goes along with it, but mostly frustration, just because I feel like I've worked at the agency for 8 years, and I've always done what I'm supposed to do, and I've never really had issues with other staff, and I've never complained about other staff or dynamics in the office. And I guess I feel like, the one time I did have some concerns and tried to bring it up and get it addressed so that we could resolve it, it just kind of like I wasn't taken seriously, or and it frustrates me. Like it does. There's anger, and there's kind of maybe even like some disappointment and some betrayal there, if that makes sense. Because I'm like, well, I guess I don't understand why why it wasn't taken as seriously as I thought it should have been.
Okay. Is there anything that any other reasons why they may not have acted on your concerns at the time?
I mean, I'm sure there are other reasons. I'm sure it made sense to them why they didn't. I understand that because in the situations where I've tried to address it, it would have been, myself and the other supervisor, who basically is like we would be basically like as management staff goes, like on the same hierarchy, and then the circuit manager, who would be our boss. And so I understand that the circuit manager has a responsibility to the both of us. I mean, it wouldn't be fair, I'm sure, in her eyes, to take one side over another. And that's not even necessarily what I was looking for. Just like, even, hey, let's talk about it and let's work it out and let's resolve it and let's take it seriously. And it more so felt like, well, no, we're going to blame other people and brush this under the rug. So, because it wasn't only myself who had concerns, it was other staff in the office who had come to me to express concerns. And basically the feedback that I got back was just that, staff were being manipulators, and they were lying, and basically none of the concerns that they had was valid, I guess. So that was frustrating because I don't agree with that.
Right. So are there any steps that you can take to help yourself deal with the frustration and the anger?
I don't know. I've really tried. Like I said, the last 4 months have been ridiculously insane as far as how busy we've been with trying to 6 people doing the work of 11 people. So I feel like maybe compared to, 9 months ago, maybe that piece of it, maybe the whole dynamic is not as consuming as it was even 9 months ago, because I really haven't had time to be frustrated or annoyed or aggravated. So I've really tried. I have a lot to do. I have a lot of responsibilities that I'm trying to manage at this point. And so I've just tried to focus on that and to not get involved in any of the outside drama, like situations before where I might have been aggravated or upset by like the dynamic between other staff members in the office. I try to just ignore it and not let that stuff bother me.
Okay, so you were talking about previously, like back in February. So if you were to rate your frustration level, like in February, 0 being no frustration at all and 10 being frustrated to the max, where would you have rated your frustration level then?
I don't know that it was necessarily in the month of February specifically, but I would say there was one point when I was like a 10 out of 10. I've worked at the agency for 8 years, and I've always, while parts of the job are difficult and stressful at times, I've always enjoyed my job, and I've always enjoyed people that I work with, and that's always been like more of the selling point, not necessarily the work that you do, because working for CD is a pretty thankless job. I mean, you're overworked and underpaid, and nobody really appreciates what you do. And so the draw has always been the people that I work with, but there got to be one point within the last year or so that I like actively was searching for another job because I just had it, and I felt frustrated and felt like I was brushed off and that I wasn't taken seriously and that nothing was ever going to change. And I don't want to be a part of that anymore.
So Laura, what would you rate your frustration level currently?
I would say probably a 7. I would say that it may have even gotten down to like a 5 at one point, but we had a meeting with some of our staff members last week. The 2 other management staff and I had a meeting.
Can you speak up, Laura? I'm having trouble hearing you.
Yes, I'm sorry. Last week, the 2 other management staff members and I had a meeting with some of the more experienced staff in our office, and that meeting didn't go very well, and there was, again, dynamic issues within
Right.
the meeting between staff and other management staff that I didn't necessarily agree with or want to be a part of. So I would
So,
say even within the last week, that frustration has increased again.
okay. So you're increased to a 10 again, you said?
No, a 7.
A 7. Okay. So you're currently at a 7.
Yeah.
All right. So what things can we help you do to wrap up kind of with this session to help you deal with the frustration that you've been experiencing?
I don't know. Like I said, the way I've been coping with it most recently is just to ignore everything that I can ignore. And that's not, that's not how I want to be either, but at least for my well-being, I kind of just, if a situation doesn't directly involve me, I just need to not be a part of it.
Okay, so you're having some negative thoughts about the situation, the fact that your stress level is kind of high, and I'm going to say, what keeps you from just quitting your job and going to get something else if it's that bad?
Well, there's a whole scary process that comes with just quitting my job because, I need the income and I need the insurance and I need the benefits. And so, it would have to be a process. I guess I can't afford to just up and quit my job. It would have to be something that I prepared for and planned for and had something
So there
else.
are some, right. So there are some positives to your job. The benefits, the pay, the having a job.
Yeah, not necessarily. The pay's nothing special, but having income is definitely a necessity, and there are benefits that are appealing as far as, I get sick leave, I get annual leave.
Okay, well, how about we do a little experiment. I'm going to give you some homework to do over the next week. And you've described a lot of things that are very stressing to you, it sounds like. So I want you to just make note of the next time you get stressed and anxious and just jot down a quick little sentence about what's going on and see if we can maybe establish or identify a pattern of things that are the most frustrating to you.
Okay. I think
so I mean, we've talked about, work, school, kids all being frustrating, and we kind of concentrated on the work aspect of it. And that mainly there's just situations and people that you're frustrated with, feeling hurt feelings and frustrated, not feeling validated when you have concerns.
Yes.
And you've thought about going someplace else for employment.
Yes. It's crossed my mind.
I'm going to say having a job and benefits is a positive. So let's see if we can maybe narrow down and pinpoint some of the things that are more frustrating to you to see if we can't help alleviate some of that.
Okay.
Okay, so how about we'll see you back next week?
Okay. Same time.
All right. Yep. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.